What's up, y'all? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. Um, Cousin Nita, for those of you who don't know, checking in with you this evening. I wanted to come and share about um, something that, depending upon, what's up, Naomi? Depending upon which area of the country you're in, it might be a big issue for you. And that's mold. What's up? What's good? Right? Is mold. Because I know a lot of people, you out, you going into properties, going to look at deals and things like that, and as soon as you step in the house, or maybe as soon as you step in the basement, you catch that whiff and you smell mold. And for a lot of you, you're automatically thinking like, oh no, this spot has black mold, so this is no deal. Or you think worst case scenario, and really it's just because of um lack of knowledge, as is most things. We don't truly know and understand what it is, so we tend to go along with the hysteria that is associated with mold. And so I just tonight briefly I want to help to dispel some of those myths, and shout out to all my elite people. We're actually going to be getting to this a little bit more in depth. I'm going to be talking about how to get rid of it, pretty much. So if you do have it, so like mold remediation, some things like that, and some other ways to test. So we'll be getting into it a lot deeper. So if you're elite, just this is kind of like um what do they call those, a prereq to what we're gonna have. What's up, y'all? I'm talking about mold tonight. So if you're not interested in mode, you can go ahead and exit stage left now. Sorry, it's not going to be any rants or any marketing, but again, this is a huge issue. Like for us in Cleveland, the majority of our homes have basements, and it is highly uncommon for you to go into a basement and it be um, completely dry. And it is very likely that you go into a property, into a basement, especially one that has been sitting vacant for any amount of time. It's very likely that you will smell and even see mold. A lot of times you can see it, if there's a glass block window, a lot of times you can see the mold kind of like streaming down the wall. And that's because there's been, what's up, Charm City? We're talking about mold tonight, really exciting. And that's because the water, has been seeping in from there. And obviously, where there's moisture, there's likely mold. Then I just, again, a couple of things just to help y'all frame up this mold thing so you can stop like throwing deals away because you see mold. First of all, you can't get rid of mold. Mold is indoor and outdoor. It's actually a super important part of our ecosystem because it basically digest dead materials, right? So we have to have it. So it doesn't matter what anybody tells you about remediation or this, that, and the third. There's no possible way to totally eliminate it from our indoor environments, okay? So you may as well stop tripping. You got mold everywhere in your house, okay? Like, it's just, even if you can't see it, it's probably still there, okay? So mold is actually, science was never my strong suit, but I do know about this. So forgive me if I was just about to say, forgive me if I, you don't use the correct words. But basically, mold is not a plant or an animal. It's not like, I think some people, I don't know, I heard one time somebody describe it like it's alive, it's a living, and I mean, I get it in a way, it is, but it's a fungi, you know? So it's no more alive than those fucking truffles that you eat. You know what I'm saying? Or those mushrooms. Like all of that is a part of the fungi family. Um, so all mold is a fungi, but all fungi is not mold, right? So again, there's some fungi that we eat and we enjoy. You think you're real high class and you eat some truffles. That's because it's a fungi, but it's not a mold. Okay, so frame that up properly for yourself. What else? You can't get rid of it. It breaks down the dead material. So that's another thing. That's another way that it's super dangerous for your properties because in areas, first of all, The main thing that messes up a house or a property is just moisture intrusion of some sort. Okay, I talked about this the other day. That's the thing that generally causes you the most problem. It may cause something else, but the root of the problem was some sort of moisture intrusion. Okay, and so when you have moisture in any form, be it like sitting water or steam or some drips, like moisture in any form, you're going to inevitably have mold, and it's going to that's how it grows. Okay, so once it grows, it's producing spores. So that water, it rains in your basement, and it could just be like a small, dribble of water. It's already mold is already growing, and it's already producing spores that they're in the environment, and it starts to just say if it was up on the you go in that basement and you can see the subfloor for the next level. Say it's right up under the bathroom or something like that, and you can start to see like that white and black kind of like cloudy substance that's on the wood. That's mold, and it's basically digesting that. How like termites eat wood, the mold is basically digesting it too, obviously at a much slower rate, but mold digests the dead material that it grows on. So that's um, um, leaves, tree, like all of that kind of stuff. It will grow in there and start to digest it. When you see it on your food, if you pull out a moldy piece of bread, it's literally digesting that substance that is on. Mold comes in. This is another thing. Mold comes in all different colors, right? Again, sometimes if you see it on your bread or something like that, it'll look like bluish green or something like that. Generally, when you see it like in a wet area, it looks like that filmy white with a little bit of black, but it could come in a lot of different colors. And so when you hear people say black mold, they aren't talking about like a type of like deadly mold. They're just referring to the color that it showed up in, because there's no such thing necessarily as black mold. Black mold is not a type. It's just that's the color that it showed up in. And so again, it's still a fungi. Now I will say that some molds do they produce mycotoxins. I believe it's pronounced. They produce mycotoxins, which are toxic. We don't want those. That's not good for us. Okay, but it's not. You have to get into. There's so many different types of molds, and it goes into indoor, outdoor, the whole nine. So you have to really like look into which molds show up in which colors and all that kind of stuff. So don't. If you hear somebody say black mold, you can think in your mind, or even look it up for yourself, just so you know for sure. You can correct them and let them know that there's not a type of black mold. That is just the color that this mold is showing up on this surface. Okay, so basically the reason why we don't want mold is because, like I said, those mycotoxins are toxic. We don't want it. You don't want to be breathing that kind of stuff. That's why when there's mold, I don't know if you've ever seen anybody, but they'll be in the suits, they'll be in the mask, because you don't want to be inhaling and breathing those toxins in. Also, it can have a huge impact on the structural integrity of your house, because again, mind you, is digesting the materials that it's on. So if it's on the wood, your joists and studs and things like this, then it's going to start deteriorating. Have you ever torn the drywall off of a wall? Maybe that's attached to the bathroom, and then once you get through there, you see that the studs have that little white black film in, or whatever the case may be. That's because they probably forgot to put a layer, and there's been some sort of moisture intrusion in the studs, and over time the mold has been digesting the wood, causing it to be weak, and then you need to no breathing anymore. Listen, I don't play with stuff like that, because I don't need no it never shows up. Like, you don't walk into a house, breathe in a little mold, and then leave out, and then you're sick. It's the going in and out, breathing it in, and then a year or two down the line, they like, yeah, you got some spots that shut up on your lungs. Like, so I don't play with that. Safety first. It takes nothing to mask up and all that kind of stuff. I walked in a house the other day, you know, and, you could literally see the particles. I'm like, have y'all not heard of lead? I mean, and these was older dudes. I'm like, this shit was a huge fucking issue. Like, have y'all, like, come on, man. I'm not walking in here like that. Plus, your hair. For me, like, I don't want that stuff all in my hair. You're scaring me. It's banging in my basement, and then it's trying to kill me when you breathe in. Yeah, you don't want to, we're going to talk about ways that you can identify which kind you have. A lot of it, again, is not producing anything toxic. So keep that in mind. Again, this is what I'm saying. This is the whole reason why I'm doing this, is because people see mold or smell mold, and it's like this hysteria around it that scares people and think that, oh my God, you got to tear the whole house down, or, you know, that's generally not the case. And so, again, for me, this used to happen to me a lot because I would go into, again, I'm in Cleveland. We all got basements, and 9 out of 10 times, even in the springtime when it's not cold, the basements still get wet. Like, they still get some sort of moisture. If it's from the house sweating or whatever case may be, there's some moisture. So you always smell mold. And so whenever I would go in there, I'd be like, damn, this house has mold. Like, nobody's going to want to buy a house with mold, not ever really knowing, like, literally I'm ingesting mold, you know what I'm saying? Or some sort of fungi, eating it, like, just didn't have the proper understanding and knowledge that in most cases it will not break your deal. And in the cases where it is a more serious issue, again, there are ways to test it, and then there are also ways to treat it and to remediate it. And so as long as you look into those options, you can factor it into your price. The bottom line is mold, in most cases, should not be killing your deal. So if you're walking into, what's up, Trace Nash? If you're walking into properties and smelling mold and stuff like that, and automatically being like, oh shit, that's not what it should be. Common types of mold at home, yeah. I don't remember what those are. I don't remember what the most common types are. I think one is like penicillin or some shit like that. I don't remember, but yeah. You can look it up and you can see, what they are, what they look like, what they, it's a whole bunch of them. It's a part of a whole, what do they call them things? Kingdoms, the fungi kingdom. I think it's like 7 of them or something like that. I'm not sure, but the long and the short of it is the mold, in a lot of times, will not kill your deal. You just need to understand and know what's going on. Understand that if you have it, it's likely already spread. It's already dark, damp areas. It reproduces those spores almost immediately and starts to spread. So don't trip on the mold. I would recommend getting it tested. This is where a home inspection comes in, because as a home inspector, I can do a mold test for you, and basically I take samples of the spores that I see, and then I send them in to the lab, and then they shoot it back to me the very next day and let me know what type. They actually break it down and let me know what type of mold is present, and if the levels are such that I should recommend to the client to have some sort of remediation. So a lot of you who are, buying the cheaper properties and stuff like that, like, I get not wanting to have an inspection, but sometimes it's invaluable, you know what I'm saying? Just to know what's going on, even if it's not a huge issue or something that you don't have to address right now. Like, a lot of times it will help to at least know what's going on, and a mold test is one of those ancillary services that a home inspector can provide for you to let you know. And for my people who are wholesaling and flipping and stuff like that, you'll be able to let your buyer know intelligently, and like, for real, not just I went down there and I smelled mold. I actually have a report, about what is actually present, the types, and, we've outlined if there are any that produce the mycotoxins and stuff like that. So the more knowledge, because these people are not going to be doing their own mold tests, okay? I don't even, unless you really know what you're doing, like, I don't even recommend you get off into that. But I mean, everybody's has their masters in YouTube University, so whatever. I'm just telling you, okay? So that's my spiel on mode. I just don't want y'all to be intimidated by a fun guy, okay? Again, when y'all eating them truffles, it ain't no problem. So do a little bit more digging into it, do a little bit more research so that you can know and feel comfortable with it and not be getting punked by your mode. I knew you had to. I'm like, look at these the fucking STEM student on my life. I just play, cuz all due respect.